Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is I, your friendly neighborhood moviegoer, John L., back again this week with more reviews for you to take in and dissect. Today, this week, they're going to be rather short. No lengthy explanations. Just more or less some, not even vague. It's really what the movies were. But let's get into it. First movie up, Scream 6. I'm going to upset a lot of you Scream slasher horror fans during this particular recording. But it is what it is. Let me start off by saying I am not a fan of horror movies or slasher films. And not because of what most people might assume. I believe most slasher films and gore type horror movies are very predictable. So they bore me. And I feel like a lot of the time they lack imagination because they're very formulaic in the way that deaths are set up, especially in ones or horror films that are franchises, such as Scream 6, the sixth installment in a franchise where I only watched the first two films. Didn't bother watching 3, 4, or 5. Wasn't interested. I came back to watch Scream 6 for the most salient point of them all, because I do this podcast. And I understand that Scream 6 is, or the Scream franchise, should I say, is very popular. So I figured, let me put my 2 cents in. We live in this world where everybody puts their 2 cents in, so I might as well do the same. Watch Scream 6 in the Dolby Cinema at my local AMC. I was accompanied by my lovely friend Kathy. She is a Scream fan, so she came along and I was able to ask her questions as to what the hell was going on because I was removed 3 installments ago. So she caught me up, and there was also some commentating back and forth between the two of us during the movie. I apologize ahead of time, folks. I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't be speaking during the movie and stuff like that or whatever, but Kathy couldn't help herself but laugh. She laughs easily at stuff. She'll admit that to you guys or to anyone that she ever meets. But at the same time, I have what people have always called an overly expressive face. You know how most females... No, let me not say that. In meme culture nowadays, we've seen or heard the expression resting bitch face when it comes to both men and women. I have no such thing. I wear my emotions on my face unless I am consciously trying to keep my emotions in check or my reactions in check. Simply put, bruh. Kathy was laughing because of the faces I was making while I was watching this movie. Sometimes she would say, "You look confused. You look a little frustrated. Why do you have that face?" And I'm saying all these things in generalities because, folks, this movie, Scream 6, fell right into the tropes. The only thing that made it even worse for me, which is why I don't watch certain content. This movie was super meta. Meta. What does meta mean? A lot of folks don't know what this term means. So I'm going to go to Urban Dictionary real quick and give you guys The real definition. Meta means about the thing itself. It's seeing the thing from a higher perspective instead of from within the thing, like being self-aware. So yeah, that is what meta is. So the movie continuously made fun of itself. It made fun of the franchise horror slasher movie type tropes. And there was a lot of what we like to phrase as inside baseball, right? So you had to be a fan of the Scream franchise in order to get some of the jokes or to get some of the references during the movie. A lot like what the complaint is with the MCU, you know, you have to make movies a simple enough entry point for fans, for new fans. Just I said it. So, with that being said, yeah, too meta. Then secondarily, you had to have a certain type of humor to laugh at the kind of stuff that what I felt was most of the crowd found funny in the film. I didn't laugh at whatever the comedic bits were supposed to be. It was all I could do is try to make light of this whole entire thing, because as much as I didn't like the film due to its meta commentary, due to the fact that can I even say the kills were over the top? Not necessarily, right? Like the first kill, I understand it's like you're trying to introduce the new Ghostface killer. And I've always hated that shit. All right. Quick sidebar. Ghostface killer, to me, has always been a rapper, MC, member of the Wu-Tang Clan. So when they came up with the Ghostface character for horror film movies, and it's like, I can't be in a conversation with someone and just mention Ghostface without them going to that particular horror slasher film character, and I'm talking about the rapper. I hate that I have to make that differentiation. There should only be one Ghostface. That's Ghostini. But anyways, I digress. The Ghostface at the beginning of this movie isn't the Ghostface who ends up being the Ghostface by the end of this movie. Yet again, following the tropes. I believe the young lady's name was Mindy, right? Mindy Meeks-Martin, played by Jasmin Savoy Brown. She, throughout the movie, keeps on explaining the rhetoric of how franchises work, especially in the horror genre. Older or OG characters from the franchise are expendable. New characters are even more expendable. And if you want to keep a core within the given franchise together, you know, they surmount these unfeasible odds, right? So she explained all this stuff in her very animated way in different parts throughout the movie. I'm glad this movie was only... See, this says 2 hours and 3 minutes for Scream 6. When I looked at the runtime originally, when I placed the order for my ticket, it said an hour 35. But this was a 2 hour movie. I was like, yo, why isn't this movie ending? And it was a 2 hour movie. So anyways, we follow the sisters from Woodsboro from part 5 into what seemed like New York here in part 6. And, the killing commences, right? Man. Okay. So, not to make this too long, because I promised it wouldn't be. I guess I don't feel that this is my kind of movie. Slashers and horror films has never been my type of film. But especially a movie like this, like I said, too much meta commentary. I thought that the movie asked of me to suspend my disbelief too much. Like, bruh, if you get hit in the jaw with a cast iron skillet, which is at least 10 inches in diameter, yeah, you ain't getting back up, fam. Secondarily, if you're going to get hit by a 30-pound movie camera right up in your jaw piece, you're not getting back up. But to see the Ghostface killer rise up from these hits like it was nothing, I said to myself, nah, this ain't it, Chief. This ain't it. Then that was part of like the final fight scene or whatever. There was a scene earlier that to me at least, that completely gave the killers away to me. It was during the whole Courteney Cox scene where Ghostface ended up being in her apartment and damn near killing her, right? Where you then deduce she's on the phone with a Ghostface, and then there's a Ghostface in the apartment doing some killing, killed her acting boyfriend in this scene. And while she was on the phone the whole time with the Ghostface killer, this dude was running around, jumping around, and trying to stab and trying to kill Courteney Cox, or Gale, should I say. And they wasn't out of breath. And he had Gale on the phone the whole time. And I'm like, okay, so there's more than one killer. But for a person who hasn't watched Screams 3, 4, and 5, I wasn't aware that it was a thing that multiple killers were always Ghostface going forward. I didn't know it was his thing. And I was like, okay, so multiple killers. I get it. No problem. And then I started putting two and two together. And I was like, multiple killers? New characters? Who are the new characters in this movie? Oh, the detective. Oh, wait a minute, his daughter. Hold up a second, his daughter died? Did she die? Wait a minute, they talked about a dead brother? Is that brother really dead? Oh, shit. There's a tie. The family tie. Like, I put it all together before the film even finished. And I was like, it sucks to be me. It really sucks to be me. Because I couldn't enjoy it at all. Because it was too over the top. It was too meta. The kills, they were gruesome. Don't get me wrong. But come on, man. How you finna ask me, a person who lives in New York, grew up in an urban community, to believe that a man who's been stabbed 20 to 30 plus times in front of you is gonna live? Like, no. I couldn't. And then Mindy gets stabbed in the gut, and then the dude drives the knife up in the gut, and then by the end of the movie, she's walking around and that happened. Gale lives. Hayden Panettiere's character got stabbed a couple times, and then in the gut too. Even she ends up living. What? I couldn't wrap my head around it, folks. I couldn't enjoy it. It wasn't funny. There was one jump scare in the movie that got me, but then the rest of it was like, what? People like this stuff, huh? But to each his own. Art is subjective. And people are gonna like what they like. I'm not saying that you're crazy for liking this. This is popular. They're probably gonna make another one. But it's not for me. I'm not watching Scream anymore. Count me out. This just ain't for me, my people. It's not. So with all that being said, let's go to the roundabouts so I can finish this up. Roundabouts. The Rotten Tomatoes, folks. What are the people saying about Scream 6? The people. The audience score with 2,500 verified ratings is at a 92%. So obviously the fan base has gone out and supported the film. And they like what they see. And then critics, with a certified fresh score of 76%, 233 critic reviews, are liking Scream 6 as well. Do I recommend this film? Only to those who are fans of cheesy slasher films and overly abundant meta commentary. It was just too much for me, folks. I wouldn't recommend it. But if you like that sort of stuff, go ahead and watch it. This has been your friendly neighborhood moviegoer, John L. That was Scream 6, my review. On to the next. Please join me, folks. Thank you, as always, for listening to my movie musings. Hopefully you're out there feeling good, staying healthy, and progressing in life and succeeding at whatever it is that you want to succeed at. It's been real, folks. Peace.